I had the pleasure of working with an executive coach about 5 years ago. It was when I first became the interim executive director at Impression 5, and one of the things that the board of directors decided to do at that time was to bring in an external consultant who did a number of things, but one of them was to coach me in kind of the executive world and create a network of resources within that. And he did a wonderful job with me in that realm. He opened doors to funders and to connections that I would have never had based on the 30 years in the industry that he had, prior to my executive director appointment. So it was an amazing amount of resources that I really never even thought could be on the table for somebody like me. And I think that was an extremely valuable piece. The other piece was just the kind of barrier-free conversation in trust, talking about what you saw internally at the organization or through the board of directors and what you felt were the issues and the problems, and to be able to have somebody that can sit across the table from you and just listen to you and fire back at you without this worry of saying something wrong was a really valuable thing. I think quite often people in leadership positions miss out on that valuable unstructured dialogue because they're afraid of what barrier they may cross with a subordinate or somebody that might be on their team, and that can be a very dangerous situation. So to have that external person come in who's just there to listen to you, to give you ideas about what you're thinking or how to change the way that you're doing something, it is extremely valuable.
When you look at the strategic planning process that your organization went through, was it actually the strategic planning process that was most valuable, or in your estimation, was it the process that leads to the implementation and the role of leadership and implementation that is really the key?
Well, it's both. And being that we had just gone through that within the last year and a half, we did a kind of a surface SWOT analysis of what the strengths and weaknesses and opportunity and threats for our organization, what those were, where they existed. And that kind of created this nice, clear picture of what was out there. And then we took a deeper step and used an external consultant who came in and helped us boil off all the fat, if you will, of what our current operations were. Because one of the traps that Impression 5 had entered into a number of times was that we continued to say yes because we felt like we needed to say yes and people wanted us. And when we get to that point, you have so much mission creep that you tend to not be able to do what your core business or core product is. That suffers. You compromise that. And so by working through that strategic planning process and then this even deeper kind of evaluation of what we're doing, which worked very well in concert, I think we got to the point for the first time in a long time of a better understanding of what we do and why we do it well and who we're going to engage in that as far as what our product is.